I'm Karen Morley, your city sleuth, and today we're taking a voyage on one of the most famous cruise liners ever, the Titanic, here at the Saskatchewan Science Centre. Come on with me.
Here's your boarding pass.
Wow, we get a boarding pass. And what's really cool about this boarding pass is it's actually got the details of a real passenger. So today I'm going to be Mrs. John Brown, and I was traveling first class. So come on with me while we board. We're here with Colette Parks from the Saskatchewan Science Centre. Hi Colette, can you tell us about where we're standing?
Right now we're in the construction gallery for Titanic, the Artifact exhibition. The entire exhibition creates a mood for you, so as you walk into the exhibition you'll hear the Irish music over the speakers. The ship was proudly built in Ireland. It took about 3 years. It was the brainchild of two particular men, and you can read their stories here in the exhibition, and you can follow their path all the way through the exhibition to the end. So in this gallery you can learn a little bit about how the ship was constructed, some of the dimensions, and then some of the personal stories of those who constructed her.
Okay, wow, this is a really amazing gallery for anybody that's interested in architecture and construction. Mm-hmm. Now, my pass, the boarding pass I was given, shows that I'm a first class passenger. Can you show me also in the exhibit how a first class cabin would look?
Sure, yeah. From your pass you can check the map and see exactly where you stayed if you have a room number, and then your first class cabin is just over behind us here.
Wow, incredible. Let's go.
So here we are in front of the first class cabin. As a passenger on RMS Titanic, this would have cost you $57,000 for your less than 1 week trip across the ocean.
Wow.
That's what the first class passengers would have paid. Some of the larger suites were as much as $100,000. That's where the Astors would have stayed and folks with money. Third class was quite nice as well. It was also $900 a ticket, which doesn't sound too much, but a lot of people on the ship were coming to immigrate to America. So $900 each for an entire family of 6, that's a lot of money. So there were definite class distinctions in the Titanic, as there were in society back then.
Yeah.
And over to your right here we have some china and dishes from the first class dining room, as well as some menus. It really shows the difference between first, second, and third class on the ship and the way it would have been in society back then.
Yeah. So Colette, can you tell us a little about where we're standing, because it's noticeably different in here?
Yeah, the lighting is lower. You can feel a chill in the air, absolutely. We're in the Memorial Gallery, and we're actually standing on half a lifeboat here, cut in half. So 65 people would have been in this lifeboat that night, except for the first few actually launched without being full. People didn't believe that the Titanic would actually sink, so there wasn't a hurry at the beginning, but near the end, of course, there was a large rush when people realized that there wasn't enough space for everybody. So this is a good opportunity to think about what you would have done that night. You know, would you leave your husband on the ship to sink, hoping he might get a boat? Do you stay with him? You know, it was definitely based on, you know, men and women and children first,
yeah,
kind of situation. So there were a lot of big decisions made that night with people.
Well, and standing here in what feels like a lifeboat and looking at the personal stories on the wall, you really do get a sense of foreboding and what's about to occur.
Yeah, for sure. And we have some personal effects of some of the passengers too, and they all tell their own personal story.
Okay, so Colette, where are we standing now?
So here we are in front of the ship's manifest. Here we can see first, second, third class passengers and crew. You've got the number that were saved and the number that were lost that night, and all the individual names. So, and this is a great time to think about the personal stories of everybody involved that night. Look for familiar names. We can check to see if your passenger survived the sinking that night.
Wow.
And I think it's really interesting for people to be able to go home after and look up more information on these individuals. A lot of it is out there, and it's really, the stories are what makes, I think, Titanic still alive for us today.
Yeah, it's absolutely overwhelming when you see this huge list of names and realize that each of those tiny names is a huge story in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us today, and I really encourage you to come down to the Saskatchewan Science Centre before March and check out the Titanic exhibit. You might also want to get the audio tour, and there's lots of people around here to ask for information because there's so much more information than we gave you. Thanks for joining us. I'm your City Sleuth.